All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Rocky Road to Success. I am Gloria Rand, and we are here to give you the real scoop on business success and from hearing from entrepreneurs who are sharing their kind of mistakes they made along the way. And joining me this week, yay, Scarcella's here.
Yay! Hi.
Yay! Yay! Missed you last week, so I had to hold down the fort.
Yeah.
But she has pitched in for me for a couple of weeks when I was out of town, so I appreciate that very much. So, yay. So our guest today is Cassi Eubank, and she is, and she's otherwise known as the Rockstar Results Coach. I love that. And Cassie is on a mission to guide women entrepreneurs to reach their full potential and live abundant and rewarding lives of contribution and brilliant impact. And oh, I love that.
That is so awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So can you kind of start us off, maybe just tell us a little bit more about how you actually do that? How do you help women entrepreneurs?
Well, the first thing is it takes several steps. The first thing is you have to believe in yourself and your dreams. And I find that a lot of people, they have dreams inside of them, but they don't really dream them because they're afraid they'll never come true. So the first thing is a lot of people don't meet their goals because the goals that they have aren't really the ones that they're passionate about. The ones they really want to do, they're afraid to go for simply because they're afraid they'll never succeed. So the first thing is if anything was possible. So we go into the world of pretend, because if you're pretending, so just pretend like anything's possible, because there it's safe. We're just pretending. So, it's okay, I can pretend. And then they connect with something they're really passionate about. And when they get really passionate about something, that's going to give them the motivation and that's going to move them forward, get them really excited. So we like to start with that passion and really deciding, what are your belief systems? Believe that you can do it and go after it. And a lot of times, it's easy to say, well, I don't have the money. I've never done this. There's so many other people doing it now. What do I have that's different and unique? But the answer is you, because there's so many people out there and there's so many people into getting healthy, doing this. But Gloria, nobody can teach it the way that you do. And you're going to impact people that if you didn't share that message, would never get that message. And you do so much for bringing entrepreneurship and healthy together, which is so good. I love that. But getting, first of all, believing that you can do anything. And then it's a matter of getting clear on what you want, crystal clear. And it's kind of if you get clear and you plan it out and then take action. So I call it the CPA, getting crystal clear on what you want, believing that you can, and then taking and planning it out and preparing for it, and then taking action. So what I love is when a person says, well, this is where I am and this is where I want to be. How do I get there? And setting up those steps, those little steps, and teaching them about motivation. Reward yourself often so that you stay motivated. Remind yourself of your why. Why are you doing this? Is it to help people? What is it that really pulls at those heartstrings to keep that emotion alive, the emotional motivation, and focusing on solutions? There's always going to be challenges, but when we can identify the challenge and then say, okay, yes, this is an opportunity for growth, but then not staying there, just jumping to the solutions and focusing on the solutions. That's when the magic's going to happen, and not staying in that negative space of, yes, here's a problem. Well, it's an opportunity for growth, because if there's something going wrong, chances are that's not where you're supposed to be. So it's guiding you to a better path if you choose to look at it that way. So I love when people say, I've always wanted to do workshops, and we sit down and we create it, and then they're off giving workshops. And I get really excited about seeing people's dreams come alive.
Awesome. That's great. I appreciate that. Yay. I'm multitasking slightly here because I'm trying to share on Twitter about what you just said, so we can see if we can get some other folks in here to listen in. So yay.
So I given this is the rocky road to success, right?
would it be okay to assume that you weren't always this crystal clear, Cassie? Oh, there are many times I'm not crystal clear because I am a woman of many passions. Yes. So sometimes, and those of us who do, some people, they just, all I want to do is be an engineer, and they go for it and that's what they do. But then there are some of us who just, I have many passions. So it's a matter of what is the driving passion right now, and then getting clear on how to make that happen. And sometimes halfway down that road, you decide, you know what? I've learned a lot of the things I need, but this isn't really the right path for me. But I'm going to take all that good stuff along this road and take it to my next path with me. So no, I have not always been clear. And I do like to check in from time to time because, you know, as we grow, we're never the same person we were last month or even last week as we experience new things. So it's a matter of just kind of checking in and saying, all right, how do I serve? How do I bring this passion, you know, forward, you know, and true to what I want to do. And those passions do change.
Very good.
Yeah. Not always clear.
Well, one of the things I'd like to also talk about is if there's one particular, you know, mistake or kind of stumbling block that you ran into, especially maybe when you were starting your coaching business, that you know, if you could go back now, that you would, you know, do something different.
Well,
anything like that?
What I'm going back and doing now. I get really passionate. I do this ready, fire, aim kind of a deal where it's like I get really ready, I get excited, I go out and I do it. And then I look back and go, okay, now what's working and what's not working? And when it comes to true success and lasting success, if you can do it the way where you set it up like a business and you say, okay, here are all the jobs that are required to do this. This is what it's going to take. These are the procedures. I need to, whether it's a coaching profession, I need to set up, you know, my clients in a program that's going to hold them. I need to set up my bookkeeping in a way to where I'm not looking at receipts at the end of the month, figuring out what happens at sales tax time, but just setting up that system for success. Then at the end of the month, you're not getting frazzled and overwhelmed because, oh no, it's tax time. Now I've got to go to PayPal and I've got to go to Square and I've got to go to my bank statement and I've got to add it all up. You know, setting up those systems ahead of time and not getting, I tend to get ahead of myself because I get very passionate about what I'm doing. So I'll jump into it and say, okay, we're going to have this great event without necessarily setting up those systems for success that are going to make it easier down the road. And sometimes it's worked to my advantage because if I don't set up those systems and it's not something that really pans out, I haven't wasted that time. But if it pans out and it's like, this is going really good, but now I've got to get a handle on it so that I can move forward in a seamless way to where it's, you know, it's something that's duplicatable. Because ideally in business, you know, if you set up, whether it's a woman's group or anything else, you want to set it up to where if you are leaving or if you are going on vacation, somebody else can take over. So with that, again, setting up, here are the processes, here are the jobs. That way you can delegate better as well. Because if you are scattered, how can you delegate to somebody else if you're going, okay, you'd have to go into my files because I'm not really organized. So I can't even communicate to you how you could do this in an effective way. And you can't empower other people. It's not just about delegating, it's about empowering them so that when they're ready to take their own stage or shine in their own light, that they have the tools that they need. And that's one of the things I love the most, is empowering people and giving them a stage to develop and grow. And you can't do that if you don't have a system down to be able to show them this is a way to do it right, and then take it and make it your own. But this is the foundation of what's needed. So setting up systems for success right off the bat, so you're not going back and recreating that, would be one of the things that I would do moving forward if I were starting again. And I've got that now where I'm doing it, but I've done it in a lot of areas, and I'm just making sure all of my areas are, you know, set up to move forward seamlessly.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely something that I've struggled with in the past as well. And I'm working on doing that. In fact, I was putting a process together this week as I'm talking with one of my coaches, and he's like, okay, well, do you have that down? And I'm like, okay, yes, I'm going to get that down. So it does make a difference when you can have that, especially if you are going to be, especially for solopreneurs, especially for if you're the sole person in your business. And yeah, if you want to take time off, or God forbid you get sick or something, you've got to be able to have a way for someone else to be able to carry things on.
And I find that with solopreneurs, it's so easy to get overwhelmed. I'm sure both of you know we're doing we're doing sales pages, we're tweaking the copy on our webpage. The bio needs to be a little bit different. Now we're writing a book to get the word out there. We're doing so many of these things, and it's hard to be a master at all of them. So where do we delegate? Where do we take it on ourselves? And I find for me, I like to do the process myself first before I delegate it. So that way I know, well, I like this way, I don't like this way. You can make it your own, but this is something that, I like to keep it this way for consistency according to what I like. But I like to keep it myself first before I delegate to others. And I'm really like 1, 2, 3 process. If I want somebody to handle my, my membership, okay, here's the webpage you go to and you put the link. Here's what you're going to see. Because to me, if you can make it step by step to where all they have to do is follow that instruction, then I like to make it easy for people to help me. As you make it for people to help you, the more inclined they will be to do that. Yeah. So, and the same thing when you're delegating, if you make it clear what you want done, the happier you're going to be, and the more satisfied they're going to be doing it, because everybody wants to do a good job. They don't want to, well, let me guess. Oh, wait, that wasn't right. Well, I'll try this. Oh, that didn't work out. Everybody wants to be able to do a good job. And when you provide them the right tools, you're enabling them to be more successful and empowering them to also learn and grow themselves and say, hey, I could do it perfectly their way. If it were my way, I'd do it a different way. And hopefully they'll grow and they'll expand, and then, they'll live their passion as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Elizabeth, do you have anything else for your having trouble hearing there?
I love your hair and I love your headband, Elizabeth.
Oh,
awesome.
Thank you. I'm in the process of moving, and my brain is in a lot of different places in this area. So I apologize. I'm not as dynamic as I usually am. I'm very stressed.
But you look good, Elizabeth, and that's what's important. You look good.
That's good. And I'm just, if you see me reaching down here, I have a dog who is hiding under my desk right now because it is pouring down rain. I'm glad I actually have the microphone plugged in today instead of, I normally don't use it. So I must have known that it was going to pour down rain. She is a big lab, and does not like thunderstorms. The other night, she was actually sleeping between my husband and I in our bed and shaking because it was rainstorm. Poor baby.
Oh, yeah. So with all of this that you've explained, what is this? And this is not completely a question that's on our list, but I feel inclined to ask it. What do you do to relax? What do you recommend to others to relax, and what do you personally do to relax? Because you can't be on all the time. Am I right? Right? Life is about a balance.
Life is about a balance. And I've heard people say balance is nonsense, but you have to strive for it. And maybe you will be a little bit off. But for me, I love meditation. In meditation, it's quiet time. It's when I go into myself, I focus on my breathing, and it's just a matter of being without the thoughts. Another thing I love doing is gardening and going out, and even sometimes I'll go out if I've been behind my computer too long at my house. Like right now, I'm visiting mom in Wyoming, and I love traveling, but I'll go outside. I've been too long in front of the computer, and I'll just sit in the grass and put my hands in the grass and just feel grounded and connected with the earth again. So I really love those practices. And if it's been really stressful, I turn on the music and I dance. I just jam and shake it all off. Let go of all of that energy that isn't serving me at that time. And then I'll go meditate and just kind of come back to center and realize one thing at a time. It's so easy to think about the 20 things that I have to do when I get home, and don't forget this. So now I'll confess, I'm a compulsive list maker. I'll make them. I feel like once I have it down on paper, I can kind of let it go. And then I can go back to that list and say, okay, what's the one most important thing and look at that list and say, okay, now I'm just going to focus on this one most important thing right now. And through that, okay, put my all into this, make sure it's good. And I really have to, as solopreneurs, I'm sure you know that time crunch of, well, I've got to get this done. I've got so many other things to do. And I've really gotten out of that mindset because I think, you know what? It's not right. It needs to go just that quarter of an inch is going to really make a difference to the eye. And I'll put that extra time in because how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Right.
And if you're never going to go back and redo it and make it better. And I'm not saying that everything I do, again, I do a lot of my own graphics. Part of that, I love to do graphics. So as much as people say, oh, just farm that out. I've got a great graphic artist for logo making and the big things, but then I like throwing things together myself and I like playing. To me, it's playing. So I'll do that myself. But, you know, I like with all of that, just coming back to center with the meditation and things like that and focusing on one thing at a time, looking at that list that I've compulsively made. And then when I scratch out a bunch of things, I feel like, oh, I did great. Look at all these things.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah.
Love
so that
it,
goes
love
back to what you said about rewarding yourself, that's how you stay, or how anybody stays motivated, is when they reward themselves.
That is one of the things. And I do a signature speech on motivation because it is very important. We start off very passionate. And if we want to stay motivated, we have to get clear on why we're doing what we're doing. It's not enough. We've got to get clear on why, because if we just say this is something we're doing, pretty soon it's going to be, if it's a far off goal, and all really big dreams and worthy goals usually are pretty far off, it's hard to stay excited and that energy the whole time. And it even happened to me with my book, Diary of an Ugly Sweater. After the first, a month. Yeah, it's a really cute book about Sophie, who is a Christmas sweater born in the factory. And she is going to the warehouse and she's going to meet all these other sweaters and then to a big store to find her forever person and her forever home. And along the way, not everybody's nice. And she tries to grasp people who are mean and, you know, this person's picking on her. So she deals with it with humor. That's all she can think of. And she winds up becoming good friends with that person. So it's kind of for tweens, but mostly adults have read it. And it's got 37 5-star reviews on Amazon.
Oh,
but
my God. Awesome.
Yes, it's adorable.
Yeah.
Sophie, I even had Bob Berg, who I'm a big fan of, and he's a New York Times bestselling author. He was kind enough to read it. And he said, I actually believe that the sweater was real. She's like so cute. And she goes through these challenges. And at the very, you know, she's getting blinged out for this Christmas party. And when she's getting blinged out at first, it's like, oh, lights, this is neat. Oh, presents underneath my tree. This is great. And then what's up with the floating Santa head? Oh, wait, a raccoon. A raccoon has nothing to do with Christmas. Okay, an elf and an angel. What's the peacock doing on my shoulder? And she feels like she's trying to be changed too much. But they come to be her family, which are friends and family. And she converses with these characters on her shirt, and they learn life lessons together. And when they do, the great thing is all the readers do too. So when a tween reads this book and they read about Sophie getting picked on, they're like, oh, poor Sophie, that's not her fault. And then they realize when they get picked on, it's not their fault either. And, you know, she's feeling, you know, depressed because she reads the invitation. What? I'm an ugly sweater? Who said I'm an ugly sweater? What? I was born to be a hideous amusement, and she doesn't want to live that way. She wants to have worth and value. And so it goes through a lot of the things that teens do with their angst and when they're going through these trials, trying to find themselves through these challenging times. And she comes out learning how to be positive, how to be happy, how to stay upbeat. So it's a great lesson. And I put the book out. We've sold about 200 copies, but then after you expand your reach, I don't know a lot about marketing books. And then Heidi Richards Moody, one day I was talking about, you know, I really need to get in front of the right publisher. Bob had turned me on to his publisher, but they do things like the 4-Minute Manager and Bob's book, The Go-Giver. And this is more of a tween book, so it wasn't really the right fit. And Heidi said to me, well, what about HCI? So now I'm putting together a book proposal for HCI because it'd be perfect for them. They did the chicken soup for the Soul series with Jack.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
First 50, and Kim Weiss, it's local in Deerfield Beach. And Kim Weiss is, somebody kind of local celebrity rock star in our area. So I'm making those connections and those contacts. But it reminded me, just keep talking about it. And when I went to Barbados recently, I talked to a woman in a bookstore there, and she put my books in. But it's a matter of staying passionate and staying motivated enough to talk about it. And even when you don't know how it's going to get out there, it doesn't matter. I'm going to keep talking about it because this book is worthy. This book is changing lives and making a difference. So when it comes to motivation, I find that if you take small steps, like say I want to lose 30 pounds, that's great. Set that as the main goal, but then chunk that down to 5 pounds. Because when you say, okay, right now, my only thought is these 5 pounds. And after that, I'm going to reward myself. When you hit 2, you're going, all right, I've got 2. When you hit 3, you're like, I'm halfway there. This is great. When you hit 5, you're like, I did it. I made this goal. I'm going to go out. I'm going to celebrate this. I'm going to get a manicure, pedicure, whatever it is that's going to make you happy, a day at the beach. And then you say, I did 5 pounds. I just have to do 5 more. And if you got 30 pounds, you just do it 6 times. But you take And the other thing is measuring your success along the way. Some people say, don't weigh it all until the end. But my father was a pilot, and he could put it on autopilot and just cruise. However, if he did that from Miami to LA, chances are tailwinds are going to push him out of the way. There's going to be something going on to get him off course. So even if he's on autopilot, he still has to check and make sure that he's going the right way. And especially when it comes to us with humans and, our passions, we might find that we got into helping people with weight loss, but you know what? I really, this isn't for me. Maybe I need to help people with their health in a different way, maybe nutrition instead of, what it is you're into. Mm-hmm. So that's all about tweaking and starting to like that voice. A lot of times when we get that voice of discomfort, we want to ignore it. But it's a warning sign saying, okay, here's your path. You're getting a little bit off. Go ahead and get back on. So if we can listen to that voice before it's screaming in our ear, it's going to be a lot better to, okay, what is that voice telling me? Why am I feeling uncomfortable? And what can I do to get back on track? So if we would stop ignoring that voice as being discomfort is bad, I don't want it, and saying, this is my friend. It's telling me something is off course and let's get back on track. Just like if you're ill. If you, first get the sniffles and you say, I'm going to take vitamin C and some echinacea now, you might be okay. But if you ignore it and say, I got to push through this, it's going to be fine. And if you ignore it, it tends to grow and get bigger. And, you don't want to get off course and be lost in the woods. You want to listen to that voice where you can still find your path and get back on track. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's like they say, what you resist persists. So it's not a good idea.
It gets louder.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, go ahead, Elizabeth. No, I was just going to say, I don't know if you had any other last questions, Elizabeth. Or...
Well, we covered so much.
I know we did.
More than what we might have even imagined that we could cover. So if there was one sentence, just one sentence, Cassie, that you would want people that are struggling on that rocky road to success to know, what's one thing, just a sentence that you would want them to know as their mantra?
The first thing that popped into my mind is love yourself.
Yay. Okay.
I like that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Love yourself. You'll forgive yourself the mistakes. You'll stick with it. But love yourself first, because when you love yourself, then you have enough to give others too. And when you love other people, it really shows. They're going to want to help you. It just, everything seems to come together when you feel like
Awesome. That last part.
Yeah. And the thunder opened up to say,
I know, it's the thunder outside that might be.
I know, it's Florida weather, right?
Yeah,
absolutely. Oh goodness. All right. Well, if people want to get a hold of you, what's your website, or what's the best place for people, or where should they connect with you, on social media, or what's the best place?
Absolutely. My website is www.cassi, CASSI, EUBANK.com, CassieEubank.com, or on Facebook. I've got a group called the Transcended Souls. I love this group with all my heart. This whole group is designed to allow our members to speak, to talk, we have guest speakers come in talking about your 5-minute spotlight, your 30-second elevator pitch, so we have some business, we have some social, but mostly we spotlight our members. We give them the opportunity, because I know I've done some really cool things in my life. And one of the coolest things was being in a rock band. And it was just because I was given the opportunity one night. They said, sit in and sing with us. And they said, wow, you're really good. And next thing I know, I'm in a rock band. And years later, we're opening for Kansas and Doobie Brothers and doing all these great things. But it just took somebody giving me that opportunity and saying, here, step up, take the microphone and shine. And I found out that I had a passion for that. So the whole group is designed about creating opportunities for our members to shine and to spotlight them, to give them a bigger audience. And the people that are there are just, I love them dearly. It's just such a passionate group. We start with meditation, and it's a spiritual entrepreneur group, an entrepreneur business with a spiritual touch. So I would love to meet anybody, and Gloria, have you have come down as a speaker one time. That'd be great.
That'd be awesome. I would love that.
But we have a wonderful group, and I'm just passionate about empowering other women. And that makes me so happy when somebody has a dream and they step up and they step in and they shine their light, because I do believe that each and every one of us has special gifts and a unique light. And it's our responsibility to shine as brightly as possible, to illuminate the path and to set a good example for others. And I love, men and women both shining their light brightly and owning that, so that the rest of us can say, you know what, we don't have to play small. We can jump up and love our life. And that's one of the things I love about Richard Branson and Tony Robbins, is the way they love life and seize life. And I love empowering people to do that, instead of, and if you want to, if your idea is, just, I want to be the quiet person in the background, God bless you, then you're doing 100%. But if you want more, if you want to, share your voice and share your story, I want to be the person that helps support you with that. So join us for Transcendent Souls. Join me on Facebook, or come over to my website. I'd love to get to know everybody better.
Sounds great. All right. Well, we're going to have to wrap it up there. And I appreciate you being here today. And we'll make sure that we connect with you on Facebook and on your website. Absolutely. So until next time, I am Gloria Rand, and my lovely co-host down there,
Elizabeth Scarcella.
Absolutely. And I'm going to stop the recording now, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.